Hi, I'm Rami Atassi, and this is Guitar Tactics. So in this lesson, we're going to take a look at how to play a basic blues on the guitar. And we're going to approach the blues, I think, in a little bit of a different way than you might be used to. Most guitar players, when they start out playing the blues, what we learn is some licks and phrases. We learn sort of the feel of the blues. Usually we're playing licks in the key of E or in the key of A. So we'll learn to play things like this. Or something like that, or those phrases over and over again, right? And it's really important to remember that the blues is, it's first and foremost, it's a feel, it's an approach, and it's not some kind of technical or formal construct. But in this lesson, we're actually going to focus on the form of the blues, on that formal construct, and we're going to save the blues licks and that kind of thing for another day. So in this lesson, rather than learning a blues in E or in A, we're going to play in F. And we're going to start with just a really basic chord structure so that we can start talking about the form of the blues. And then a little bit further down the road, we'll bring those licks around and work them back in. So let's start with the basic blues in F. I'm going to play it for you. I've provided it for you. And what it is it's 4 bars of F, 2 bars of B flat, and then 2 bars of F, and then 4 bars of a turnaround. 4 bars of a turnaround. So here's the F shape I'm going to use. I've provided it for you. And here is the B flat. Pretty simple stuff. And then for the turnaround, I've got a C7. I've got a B flat 7. And back to the F here. And then I've just got my little sort of turnaround here, which is kind of like a G minor 7 to a C7. That I'm using as part of the turnaround. So let me play it all together for you, and then we'll talk about it some more. Okay, so that's real basic, real straight ahead. There's not really a lot of voice leading going on. I mean, listen to this F, to this B flat. There's just kind of a lot. There's some, just really simple block chords, 3-note voicings, and also pay attention to this comping pattern that I'm using, which is kind of nice, I think, to just set up when you're playing by yourself. And so the pattern is if it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, and 1. And so that's the pattern here. And each one of those little phrases, bum, bum, each one of those phrases is 1 bar. So to play 4 bars is just to go 4 times, Okay, cool. So now we have a really basic structure for the blues. Let's expand it a little. So what I want to do here is I want to focus not on the first 4 bars, which we'll talk about in another lesson. I think you can imagine here, if we're just working on the first 4 bars, and we're just in F, right? So we can add some chord changes or we can add some lines and we can play some licks, but we'll do that later. What I want to talk about is how we're moving to the 4 chord, and then how we're moving from the 4 chord back to the 1 chord. So this happens in bars 5 and 6, really, that's where the 4 chord is, right? So let's take a look at that. Here are some alternate approaches to playing that section. So I'm going to start at the top, and I'm just going to play the F. Okay, so I've provided the chord shapes there for you, and let's talk for a minute about what we're doing. So we're coming from our F, and instead of playing the B flat here, we're we're moving all the way up here to the 6th fret, and we're playing it as a B flat 7, right? So we're going. I'm playing the bass with my thumb, but some folks might play like this. Cool. All right. So what we're doing is we're going like this B flat 7, and then instead of just staying there for the whole time, we're actually playing a second chord. So we're going. So let's talk about that. Instead of just playing B flat, like that, we're playing 2 chords. B flat 7 to, this is a B flat 13 with a B in the bass. Or I guess you could say a C flat with a C flat in the bass. And you probably would say it that way. So that's what's going on here. And then to an A minor, to a D7. And then we move to our turnaround. Okay, so one more time, let's take a look at this phrase. Now here's bar 3, bar 4, now the change. Okay, so I'm going to talk for 1 minute about a couple of these chords and kind of how they substitute and work into each other. But really, if you want to get more into that, I'd recommend watching the next lesson, which is more about chord substitutions in the blues. I'm just trying to give you a little bit of variation for even when you first approach this blues by giving you some shapes that might not be familiar to you. So real quick again, let's go over this. We have the B flat 7 up here, right? And this works well moving. What we do is we make it a B flat, like a B flat 13. But we're moving up the bass, you know, a half step. It's just a really weird tense chord that I love. So that's like, you know. And then to this A minor. And the A minor is actually a substitute for the F. So let's hear F. Now with an F in the bass. Little snaps there. Okay. Now let's hear A minor. So you can hear it's pretty close. They share a number of the same notes. And so very, very close there. To me, they kind of sound the same. And it works really well when you're coming from this B flat. So here's the B flat 7, B flat 13, flat 9 in the bass, A minor. You can play like this, like a bar, but I'll usually play like this. And it is an A minor 7. And then really, for me, often when I'm playing a minor 7, what I'll often do is then play, you know, I'll play a 7th chord, a 4th up. So if it's like an A minor 7, up a 4th is a D7. And that's where that next chord comes from. So the phrase would be B flat 7. Now here's that D7. And so that's one way you can kind of open up and expand a little bit when you're playing over a 4 chord. And for more sort of in-depth approach to chord substitutions in the blues, check out another lesson I'm going to put together, and I'll link it here. So as always, if you have any questions, feel free to just leave a comment, shoot me a note. And so thanks so much for watching, and good luck with your practicing.